How do Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hardy, and other movie stars make such dramatic, eye-popping, hulked-out transformations? Sure, they have big budgets to hire professional chefs and trainers, but they still need to stick to the plan without fail, or hit it 99% of the time. And the best way to do this is to simplify and remove as many variables as possible that are obstacles to success. So to help you plan, shop, and prepare food with maximal efficiency and efficacy so that you can look good, move well, and feel like $1,000,000, I present to you the topic of today: Philly's 5 steps for food efficiency, in order from 1 to 5. Plan, shop, prepare, track, and repeat. And to make it even faster and simpler, we're gonna chuck complicated meal plans, recipes, and random food restrictions out the window and base all of the above on the 5-ingredient meal. Step 1, plan. Okay, so food gets complicated fast. There are a ton of different diets, food philosophies, and conflicting pieces of advice and research. The best way I know how to cut through the noise is to keep things simple, and that is through 5-ingredient meal approach. This is going to make planning, shopping, cooking, and tracking as easy as it gets. What is a 5-ingredient meal? A meal that literally has 5 simple ingredients. That means if you pick up a box of something to eat or a jar of sauce and the label has 3 ingredients listed, then you only have 2 more ingredients left to add to your meal. So this method cuts out processed and packaged foods with long lists of ingredients, and instead promotes eating whole unprocessed foods, which also tend to help you feel good and look good. How to build a 5-ingredient meal. Proteins first. Pick a protein that you like and make this the center of your meal. Produce. Choose a vegetable or fruit that you enjoy and fill up a good portion of your plate with this. Fat. Consider adding some fat to your meal if your protein was very lean, something like butter, avocado, or almonds. Starch or carb. Consider adding a starch like a baked potato to the plate if your training and lifestyle demand the added energy. Double up on any one of the above categories for a 5th ingredient, or just keep it simple and stop at 4. I will often add a 2nd type of fruit or vegetable. Step number 2, shop. Have you ever heard of a capsule wardrobe? It's a modest selection of clothes that all work great together and can be combined in a huge number of ways. Instead of staring into the abyss of an explosion of items, colors, and patterns, you can grab pretty much anything and get out the door fast and looking fantastic. Shopping for 5-ingredient meals works the same way. We're going to fill the buckets of each category to make shopping less overwhelming and make cooking super fast and tasty. Here's what I shop for almost every single week for myself and my family. First, proteins. I'll start by saying that if you're vegan or vegetarian, I'm also going to link the vegan resource guide that we have from the page that was linked in today's show notes. I typically shop for ground beef, chicken thighs, bacon and salami, which the kids love, eggs, Greek yogurt, and some cheese. For fruit, we always grab a big bag of frozen berries. These are great in Greek yogurt and smoothies for the kids. We buy bananas, apples, peaches, pears, and whatever else is in season. For vegetables, we keep it pretty simple with carrots, zucchini, pickles, or cucumbers. For fats, you'll find grass-fed butter, almond butter, avocados, and olive oil in our pantry. And for starches, we always have potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice cake, and gluten-free pasta available. With this shopping list as a foundation, there are over 1,400 different meal combinations that we could make. Now that is a lot of variety built on the backbone of simple ingredients. Hey, have you learned anything from this video yet? How about any of our videos from the past? If you have and you haven't subscribed to the channel, it would mean so much to me if you would go there right now, hit the subscribe button. The more we grow this channel, the better the videos, the more education we can bring you, and the more impact we can have. Let's get back to it. Step 4, easy bulk prep. How do we make meal preparation not an all-day chore? If you're subscribed to the 5-ingredient meal approach for most of your meals, then you can use this framework to prepare food with less friction. If you think about each of the categories that you shop for, you can now start to think of how you are going to prepare that food in batches. First, batch cook your proteins. That means cooking 1 to 3 pounds of meat at a time and storing it in an airtight glass container in the fridge for a few days. By choosing to store in glass containers, you'll be able to keep your food fresh for longer. Having protein on hand at any moment is key when aiming to save time and win the nutrition game. Here are a few high protein options that require next to no preparation. Canned tuna, whey protein shakes, non-fat or full-fat Greek yogurt, and zero sugar beef jerky. Next up, fruits and vegetables. Wash and chop your fruit and veggies right when you get home from the store. You will always have some accessible produce just at an arm's length away. A few convenient options for added fats. Single-serve guacamole, 100% dark chocolate squares, Epic pork grinds, which is a brand name and a great combo of protein and fat that's great on the go. Batch cook your carbs. Just like protein, you can cook these in batches ahead of time. Have some plain rice, potatoes, or pasta that you like cooked in the fridge. Make this plain without sauce or lots of seasoning. Then you can add a half a scoop of rice into a bowl with a handful of lettuce, a palm-sized portion of beef, and a side of avocado. That makes a meal in a pinch. Make sure you arm your kitchen with some seasonings and sauces. Look for ones that don't add a lot of calories to the mix. I typically don't count spices and seasonings as full ingredients, but only because my go-to options don't add significant macros or calories into the mixture. If you're using a store-bought sauce, read labels very carefully to avoid added sugars and processed ingredients. My go-to low-calorie flavors are yellow mustard, Dijon mustard, all types of vinegars, salt and pepper, tamari or soy sauce, and my favorite, which is the Philly barbecue sauce. This is 1 cup of yellow mustard, half a cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and an optional tablespoon of maple syrup. So, to track or not to track? Tracking macros is a great way to learn more about food and get the hang of what works well for you. It's also time consuming and you might not want to do it forever. Fortunately, with 5-ingredient meals, tracking is much easier should you choose to take it on. You can weigh batches of ingredients as you bulk prep for your components. And with 5 or fewer ingredients per meal, you don't have to enter complicated recipes into your tracking app. With that said, you might find it simpler to just track your protein only, or use the hand as a measuring guide. A serving of protein is about the size of your palm. A serving of veggies is a couple of fistfuls. And a serving of fat is about the same size as the end of your thumb. I have more resources on these methods on my website, but just remember, eating 5-ingredient meals is already a huge win in the nutrition department. You've eliminated processed food, and you're putting protein, veggies, and healthy fat sources on every plate. This alone makes a drastic change to your body, as well as your energy levels and your mood. But if you need to dial it in further, these simple meals will take the hassle out of the process of tracking. As always, let me know what questions you have, and hit the link in the show notes below to download your free food planner at functional-bodybuilding.com.